Hi, Year 7. Question set number 9. So there's some rounding of significant figures. You need to pull that out of the back of your head if you can't remember. And then also some estimating. Now remember, with estimating, I've given you a huge little clue here. It's all about this thing, isn't it? It's all about rounding to one significant figure first. But anyway, that's enough of me talking. You've got 5 minutes starting now. Your 5 minutes is up. Right, let's have a little look at this thing then. So, round these to one significant figure. So, this is it's the same rules as decimal places, rounding to decimal places, or rounding to the nearest 10 or 100 or whatever. But the significant figure, or figures, shows us, a different way of describing what level to round to. Now, if it's one significant figure, we're looking for the first significant figure. That's actually the highest value digit in your number, keeping in mind place value. So for example, this 9 in this number is not the highest value digit. It would actually be this one because it's worth 8. 8 is bigger than any of these other digits. This is 9/10. That's less than 1. This is 8/100. That's really tiny, So we're looking for the highest value digit in each one, keeping in mind place value. So that one's the highest one there. That one would be the highest one there. And in this number, it's actually that first 7 because it's worth 7,000. The next one to it is 700, and then 30, and then 4. So once we know the highest value digit, we do what we normally do when we're rounding, which is look at the next number along and decide whether we're going to round up our first significant figure or if we're going to leave it alone. If it's 5 or above, we round it up. Now this one is a 7, so we round up our initial 7 to an 8, but then we need some placeholders because you need to keep the same place value. So sometimes you need to put in placeholders to keep place value. So 8,000 to one significant figure. This one, check the next number across. It's a 1. That's not 5 or above, so I leave my 8 alone. And I put in the decimal point and the other 0 just to keep it in its place value, 8/100. This one, 8 here. Now check the next number across. It's a 9. That means I definitely round up my 8 to a 9. Now I don't need a point or anything after that. It's not going to change the place value. So it's just 9. This one here, check the next number across. It's a 5, so 5 or above I round it up, so my 9 gets rounded up. Now, my 9 is going to become a 10. So that would be a 0, and I put the 1 across into the next column. Okay. But actually that's not very neat. I don't want this 0 on the end, so it becomes 0.001. That 9 gets rounded up, so it becomes a 10, so actually it's a 1 in the next column. Okay. In this case, if you have put a 0, that's absolutely fine because it's been rounded to that significant figure. It kind of shows it's been rounded. So I'll accept either, I think, on that one just today because I'm feeling generous. Okay, estimate each sum by rounding to one significant figure. So we're going to round this to one significant figure. Check the next one across. It becomes an 8. And 6.4, that's the highest value digit. So check the next one. It stays as a 6. And then we do 8 times 6. 6 8s are 48. Okay, so that's roughly equals. That's an approximately equals sign there. So it's approximately equal to 48. So round your numbers first. This should round to a 10. Now that's because, check that first number. That's the first significant figure. Check the next one across. We leave the 1 alone. It stays as 10, not 11. This one we round. Check the next one across. It rounds up to a 9. So it's just 10 times 9. Which is 90, so my sum is approximately equal to 90. This one, that's the highest value digit, that's the first significant figure. So check the next one across. We leave the 3 alone, but put a 0 in to keep it in its place value. Keep it in the tens. This one, that's the highest digits, that's the first significant figure. Check the next one across. It rounds to an 8. So I need to do 30 divided by 8, which, you could do in a bus stop, couldn't we? How many 8s in 3? None. How many 8s in 30? Well, 3 8s are 24, with 6 left over. So we'll put in a decimal point, carry the 6 across, put in a 0. 8s into 60, so 6 8s are 48, 7 8s are 56. So 7 8s are 56. Which means there's 4 left over, so carry it across. 8s into 40, go 5. So 3.75. My sum is roughly equal to 3.75. This one, if you round these, the first number should round to 8. The second number rounds to 4. And then the one underneath doesn't round to 1. Look at what's going on here. That's the first significant figure, check the next one across, it rounds up to a 5. So we've now got 0.5. Okay, so there's our sum. That's an approximately equal to 8 fours are 32. Then we can divide it by, oh, not 4, divide it by 5. Right. Now, if you put 16, you're wrong. If you're dividing things into halves, or we'll see how many halves fit into that. Well, if I'm seeing how many halves fit into 1, well, there's 2. You can get 2 halves into 1. If I was seeing how many halves go into 2, that would be 4. You actually double it. The answer is double. It's 64. Try it on your calculator if you didn't before. 32 divided by 0.5, and it gets 64. Divided by a half, you're seeing how many halves fit into your number. Well, it's always double the number. 64. Yeah. Not Zoo Lane. Nothing to do with Zoo Lane. Just 64. Okay, right. Off to your main task then. And remember about rounding to significant figures. Bye-bye.